7:11 at WIBX. I don't know if you saw this story yesterday, but Donald Trump's three oldest kids are Donald Jr. Do we know the names? Everybody know the names? Donald Jr., Eric, and Ivanka. And they've all been active members of his campaign, but only Donald Jr. is able to vote for him in New York in the primary next Tuesday. It's a closed primary, meaning that only people registered as Republicans and Democrats can vote for their party. Donald Jr. is a registered Republican. Ivanka and Eric are not, so they will have to sit it out. They're independents and have both given money to politicians in both parties, just like Donald has. Donald Trump was asked about it on Fox and Friends yesterday, and here's what he had to say.
They were, unaware of the rules, and they didn't register in time. So they feel very, very guilty. They feel very guilty, but it's fine. I mean, I understand that. I think they have to register a year in advance, and they didn't. So Eric and Ivanka, I guess, won't be voting.
He'll be maybe referencing that. He'll be in town today at 4 o'clock is the scheduled time. Mayor Jackie Izzo in Rome is on the line right now. And Mayor, what does this mean? Secret Service following him around right now. So what does all of this mean? An impromptu gathering at Griffiths. I mean,
good morning, Bill.
Good morning. I mean, think about it. The people who plan shows and concerts and events, and you work so hard to get people out. Trump's like on Monday night. I think I'm gonna try to bring in 10,000 people over at Griffiths tomorrow. I'll be there at 4. Be ready for me.
Well, it actually started Sunday night around 5.
Okay, so this has been going on for a few days. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a planning meeting by 9:30 yesterday morning, and actually his people have been here 24 hours straight through. They've been building his stage and getting everything ready at Griffiths in the nose dock. It's going to be in one of the nose docks, which will hold about 5,000 people.
Okay.
I heard you say earlier that it would be cool to see his plane. Unfortunately, we're not going to because the large plane is down for maintenance. So he will actually be coming in on a smaller Cessna.
Got it. All right. Well, that's very interesting because that would have been. I mean, go back to when Air Force One flew in. I mean, that was an incredible moment. But it's amazing that we all know that base can handle everything right up to the space shuttle.
So maybe he can be persuaded on a future visit to bring his plane here for servicing.
That's a good point. Yeah, that'll be your job, Mayor Jackie Izzo.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think what's really incredible is the fact that New York State, for the first time in I can't remember, is relevant in the primaries.
I think this goes back.
Have the opportunity to up here, especially all the districts are in play, to have a say in the outcome of the primary election, who the candidate from New York would be.
Yeah, this goes back. It goes back a long time since this has played any role. And even though they're saying the numbers, I mean, Trump's way up right now, Hillary's up by about 14 points right now. It's still a race, and they're out fighting. So it is certainly pretty exciting. What kind of special things had to be done for Trump today? Were you guys responsible for?
Yeah, it's not at the level of this is. If he were the Republican nominee, it certainly would have changed. It's not at the level of a presidential visit or a Republican nominee, but there'll be security, of course. Our Rome police will be responsible for everything outside the fence of the runway. Everything inside the fence will be handled by the sheriff and then the airport staff. They're working in the nose dock area to build the staging, bring in the sound, that kind of thing. There may be a rope line later. We're not sure. We know when he comes in, he'll speak for about 45, 50 minutes, and then it'll really be a quick in and out.
Yeah.
But they don't. Interestingly, the campaign doesn't sell anything here. They don't authorize any vendors. So I think those hats and things you see on television are actually outside groups that do that.
Okay.
There's nothing that's sanctioned by the campaign.
Got it. Really interesting how, unlike so many other campaigns, Trump likes to come in and get out. He's in and out.
Well, for someone that is used to political operations, this is not like that at all. They don't operate like a typical political campaign would.
Yeah.
You know, a typical campaign would come in, there'd be a set script. We're going to have a VIP area. You know, if you want to, we're going to raise some money while the candidate is here. You could get so many people in there at a dollar amount beforehand with him.
Right.
None of those things are taking place because he's self-funded.
Right. Which I guess is a good thing, right?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see that in our congressional race as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of candidates that are going to self-fund, so that's going to make that interesting. That, you know, people are not having to be dependent on the voters per se to help them raise money so they can continue their campaigns. And these campaigns are astronomically expensive.
You know, they certainly are. I mean, think about the money that's really being spent. Andrew.
I mean, you think about, you had mentioned that there are teams that are building stages and setting up sound. I mean, you got a major artist that goes on tour. They maybe do this, a few times a week, and these candidates are doing it every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So they've got teams out ahead building stages. That's got to be, you got to pay the crew, the fees and all that.
And it is incredible how quickly these things come through. I mean, the public didn't really know about this until yesterday afternoon, and by the time it filters out, they're going to get a huge crowd. I mean, concert promoters only wish they could pull in numbers like this. It's really pretty amazing.
That's true. You know, yesterday morning when we met with Trump's people, they said we won't release this until we have what they call a signed contract, which in our case would mean our usual contract that people might sign to use the hangar space at the airport, etc. And they didn't until early yesterday afternoon when they had a contract. It was out by the 6 o'clock news, but still, really, you're talking about less than 24 hours that you're going to pull in thousands of people.
Jackie, could you tell me, is there any truth to the rumor going around that if any of the employees make a mistake, they will immediately be waterboarded? Do we have any details on that? Yeah.
I don't have any details about that.
No details. Okay, one other item. I spent some time doing some work, doing some videotaping in the last couple months at Griffiths, and I got a chance to see from inside the airport and the work that's being done with drones, and then you drive around the facility, and you just it is everybody should really just take not just drive through the complex, but really take notice as you're driving through how this thing has grown, and how I think we all would be really shocked to know what is inside and what is the work that's being done inside Griffiths right now.
I think it's pretty amazing because you're right. You can now see the transformation from an Air Force base to a tech park. It's impressive, especially if you lived here. You grow up with something, you watch something come to fruition, and you're not paying much attention because it's happening in your backyard. But when you're really invested and you start to take a drive, we did an airport tour about a month ago, got a briefing, up to speed on what's going on. Just amazing what's happened on the runway space.
Right.
And then the rest, we've been to a lot of the missions, the lab, DFAS. People don't realize the size and scope of DFAS.
Right.
It's amazing. These missions have grown. And then the private sector investment. Christech Wire has just built a new facility there. They're getting ready soon to, I think, move into that and open. Amazing. We've got Family Dollar that's still there, the Sovina, and then all these other little companies that have popped up. The Griffiths Institute has grown and will soon be adding an addition onto the building. So, it's really become a business hub.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty exciting. And Mayor, speaking of exciting, today at 4 o'clock, Donald Trump in town at the base, I should say, at Griffiths. One last thing. People are asking if there's any provisions that are being made for people that might be handicapped or handicap accessibility. What's the what do you know, if anything, about what's being done for that? That's
all handled by Trump's people. I would say they probably are. I know that it's a standing room type event. They're not doing any seating. So if someone were in a wheelchair, they certainly would accommodate that. They're very cognizant to disabled veterans, etc.
Got it. Okay.
So there were no special requirements that were discussed yesterday.
All right.
But I'm sure that if someone wants to come there that is disabled, they will make accommodations.
All right, Mayor Jackie is on Rome. Big day for the city of Rome. Thanks for taking the time this morning.
It is. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Hold on tight. We're coming right back. Brian Angelicchio is now a coach, a tight ends coach with Andrew's very own, and they're his, by the way, Green Bay Packers.
That's right.
And we'll talk to Brian from Ilion native, coming up next on WIBX.